What's poppin', everybody? Bailey Strasser here with obviously the unfortunate news that took place in last night's game. As the Bucks now are trailing 3-1 on the verge of elimination from the first round for 3 straight years, second straight year against Indiana. The Bucks, it was nice to see Lillard do all the stuff that he did to come back, recover from that blood clot problem that he had, and see that he's able to play. And then he comes back, and it was probably honestly one of the worst things you could even have happen. It was confirmed today that he unfortunately tore his Achilles, and especially at that age, it honestly was really hard. It's really hard for you to come back from it. I mean, when Klay Thompson tore his Achilles in the finals, it took him 2 full years to really recover and be back to what it took him 2 full years. Kobe Bryant was around that same age, and obviously that was what basically got Kobe Bryant to never be the same player again and forced him to retire. Eventually. It's not just an injury that affects, Damian Lillard, but with where the Bucks are at with this closing window, I think you could honestly say that with where the Bucks are at, with the cap hit that's within the future of next year and all that, there were people, I was circulating maybe the Bucks should try to get rid of Lillard because, frankly, I thought the duo wasn't working out the greatest. But this is the second straight year in the playoffs where we haven't even got a full healthy Giannis, full healthy Dame. You can't sit there and, we first lose Middleton and then we get eliminated by the Celtics where we blew a 3-2 lead. And then you lose Giannis, where we get eliminated by the Heat. You use Giannis again. Now you lose Dame. It's like nobody can be officially healthy. Whether to like it, I don't think they would have beat this Pacers team anyways with Dame. But it's just clear that with what we've seen being likely first round exits for 3 straight years. Tomorrow will tell if that obviously ends up being what happens. But it's safe to say, before I obviously do my video, talking about what should happen in the offseason, which whenever the elimination happens, it's safe to say that, I said the window was closing. I said it was. But this injury basically confirms that that's probably now likely going to happen. And, people were saying, oh man, Giannis, man, he's going to get traded. He wants out of Milwaukee, But the truth was, the media narrative got the Bucks to basically panic and do what they did. When they won the championship, they should have brought back PJ Tucker, and they did not. They gave Bobby Portis way too much money with a big contract. They gave Pat Connaughton way too much money with a big contract. And same thing with Chris Middleton. All the people that we signed, they had the big money and whatsoever. But when they lost in the first round, and they obviously hit the panic button, fired Budenholzer, because of course, being a coach in the NBA is just like a death sentence at this point. You never know what's going to happen. Who knows how he would have been if we actually kept Bud? I don't know. And then they panic even more and then trade away Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard, which was the biggest risk move ever. And that was the moment where I think John Horst hit the panic button and just did it. Now you get Damian Lillard's injury. We could have probably traded him and got some picks. What people don't understand is we have no money. We're over the cap. We have basically everyone's a free agent. Brooke Lopez is a free agent. I think almost everyone's at the end of their contracts. All those old guys that we signed, for 1-year deals, they're all free agents. You traded away Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma, who's been nothing but terrible ever since he's got to Milwaukee. He's been worse ever since he's been a Milwaukee Buck. I guess Kevin Porter was the only steal, but realistically, he's not a true point guard, so I don't even know what to say about him. None of our young guys are even remotely good. You traded away the one who actually had the most potential in A.J. Johnson, and he was balling out for Washington when we traded for him. There's not really much to say other than we couldn't even beat a good team this year. Couldn't beat the Knicks, couldn't beat the Celtics, couldn't beat the Cavs, and once again, cannot beat the Pacers. We just cannot beat the good teams anymore. And if that's the case, you're going to have to think of a long-term perspective. If you can't win anymore, what are you supposed to do? I mean, it was crazy enough when Nico Harrison traded Luka Doncic, even when the Dallas Mavericks actually still had a team good enough to actually make the finals again. And now, but the difference is, I think with where we're at with the Bucks, they don't have anything. Their young guys aren't good. They don't even have any draft picks for like the next 5 years. It's really, the situation has gotten to a point of desperation for what the media has circulated about Giannis, that we have freaked ourselves out of a situation where it's pretty obvious that the only way the Bucks can have success in the future is if they trade him. I said that was crazy. You can't get rid of Giannis. With Dame and Giannis being the top scoring duo, in the NBA, why would you want to trade that? Now with Dame tearing his Achilles, he's likely out all of next year. No one's going to want him in a trade. Nobody. Injuries suck. This is the last thing I wanted to have happen to him, because he deserves so much more to finish out his career. It just sucks to see that Dame's just not the same player that he used to be. It hurts to see this out of him. I've been a Dame fan ever since I've known it. And to see it, when we got him, I didn't even know what to think. And it hurts just to know that likely that was his last time ever in a Bucks uniform, probably, knowing how long an Achilles injury really takes to heal, and you're not going to be the same player. I mean, Klay Thompson is not the same player. Kobe Bryant wasn't the same player. Kevin Durant, I guess you could consider, wasn't the same player either. This is just the worst thing to possibly have happen. Injuries are just awful. And with where we're going, I feel like it is the end of the dynasty. You had your moments, and the Bucks have nothing left. And it's crazy enough to say it, and as psychotic as I say it, I don't want this to happen, but I can't believe I'm going to finally say this after all these years. I know I say it as a crazy person, but the Bucks have to trade Giannis. It's just, there's no choice with where we're at. And this is just, it's the worst thing to have possibly happen. And as much as you can't really sit there and say, you never know what could happen. Maybe maybe they'll manage to pull off this victory and go to the next round. But 3-1 it's been done before, but it's going to be very difficult to get 2 wins in Indianapolis for sure. But obviously, I'm not going to get a full depth analysis on what they should do in the offseason until we're eliminated. But prayers up for Damian Lillard. Just want him to get better. This is just a very sad day for a lot of Bucks fans. Very sad day. But most importantly, I got to witness so much, and I'm not going to try to be as negative as I don't want to be negative, but I just feel in my heart that it's really all the good memories that I had watching the Bucks in high school and college, seeing Giannis turn into the player he was, seeing the stars that he teamed up with, seeing Milwaukee get put on the map. It just sucks to see all that blown up in your face like that. And I prayed for Damian Lillard to have nothing but a good recovery, and sucks to see this stuff happen. Well, I guess I'll sign off now, but obviously my next video will come once we find out, obviously, what happens with the Bucks season, but we will see you next time. Go Bucks.